Just letting y'all come into the room with a slow jam. I haven't even turned my phone off. Holy Scott. Come on. Are you new? I don't think I'm new. Listen to a little sweet pea from AidenTaylorMusic.com, who happens also to be our oldest son. It's just, I always wanted to be a DJ. Maybe at a roller rink or a dance, just so I could say snowball. If you don't know what that is, that's when you have to change partners 30 seconds through a song. So not only do you get the anxiety at a high school dance of hoping you either can ask somebody to dance or get rejected or the other way around, but also you finally got somebody to dance with, and then the DJ comes on and you're like, don't do it. And you're like, snowball, and you have to find another partner, and then it's just pandemonium. And if it's Stairway to Heaven, that's 7 minutes of every 30 seconds snowball. It's just like, why don't we just all get in one big circle and just hold hands? A good old We Are the World. So thank you. And welcome everybody to the feed. And hey, good to see you. The good stuff. Okay, no pressure. That's fine. I can do this. I can bring the good stuff. So for you all that clicked remind me, and you are here right now, well, thank you. That's more planning than I'm good at this point, and we're doing this for a couple of reasons. One is that one of the things I want to test out too in all of this is live streaming video on platforms, just on impulse and just going live versus scheduling it, and obviously there'll be a big impact. Richard, good to see you. You want to hang around here because you do get a shout out as usual. Oy, great photographers just always get shout outs like that, but good to see you. So I'm going to start going into this, and I'll try to bring some comments in, but I also want to cover a lot of stuff. I have a few issues. Well, there's a lot of issues, but issues when I'm talking is focus. One of the reasons I wear headphones is so I can focus on my voice to make sure I try to slow down, because I always have a lot to say, and I try to think if the more words I can fit in a minute, the better it will be. Thank you, Becky. Good to see you. I've known Becky longer virtually than most people, so it's really good to see you, Becky. And with comments too, it's like a Jack Russell Terrier on speed, right? I'm just watching comments and trying to pull them in. So I'm going to try to watch some of the comments sometimes, but I want to get through this because this is our kind of a LinkedIn lunch talking about ethics and sales and marketing and LinkedIn. And so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can here, but I'll try to pull in some comments when I can. So please don't think I'm ignoring you, which this is all moot, by the way, because if somebody just joined the live like right now, they wouldn't have heard that. And they're probably thinking, well, why wouldn't I pull in your comment? Anyway, let's get to the show. Hope you're enjoying your lunch. And this is my liquid lunch of coffee, but it's in my Jackass Whisperer mug with the Unpodcast on the other side. And for our 7 fans, it'll be back. Don't worry. We love you. And Jason, I'm happy you're here as well. Another long-time supporter. Good to see you as well. So let's go into this now. Also, I'm trying to stop saying so much, which I just said so much. Anyway, constant improvement, people. That's what we want to look at. So in my world, I just said so again. On marketing, on selling, on branding, I have to give you some context of why I'm talking about LinkedIn. And at the bottom is really what I want to show you. It's that I've been on LinkedIn since 2003. I thought Rise.com was the first kind of social media site I was ever on, but I joined there in 2004. And I realized Rise was R-Y-Z-E or Z-E if you're nasty, Miss Jackson. And you pick your social sites and what. And I realized, no, LinkedIn was first, but LinkedIn wasn't a social media site. Let's just get that straight. I'm coming out of the slide. Hang on. Let's just get one thing straight. LinkedIn in its infancy in its early years, and I mean early decades, was not a social media site. It got lumped in to social media in a grouping, especially those of my OGs on here, and there's almost everybody who commented already. I either talked to back then was social media was the social aspect of it, and it was the connection and the networking, which is what we'll talk to about here. Okay, we're going to talk to this about that network and social and why the ethics play into this. But one of the biggest things about it was it was a Rolodex. Now, for those millennials and below who don't know what a Rolodex is, it's where we used to keep our contact information, and you'd spin it, and it would be just like almost a recipe card, or you put the business card into it, and you'd find a name. And that was the most valuable thing on somebody's desk back in the day. It was your address book, pretty much. It was your contact info. And LinkedIn was that. LinkedIn was really a place where it was your contact info. And anytime you saw somebody update their profile, if you were at the same company as them, if they updated their profile, they were job hunting. That was the secret. I used to be in HR, if you can believe that. And that's one of the things we would look out for. If they polished up their profile, we thought they were looking, because LinkedIn back then, that was all about recruiters, and it was incredible for recruiters, obviously, and people who are business development. So it's people who are kind of cold calling virtually and recruiters, and that's pretty much where it sat for a good decade or two. I mean, it was just that was it. And they're like, well, social media is Twitter, Facebook, and they throw all these sites in, and LinkedIn. And I realized they were using LinkedIn as the gateway drug for social media, because everybody in business would know that. They wouldn't know what Tweezer or Bookface was, but LinkedIn, oh, I get that, yeah. So it was their safe social media place for somebody who didn't really want to be social. It's like, oh, I'm on there, don't worry. And good to see you, Frank. One of the 7 going back to the Detroit Public Library book tour stop. Oh, I love that one. That was awesome. That was so much fun. And I love me some Detroit. There's Barry. Barry's going to sit right here. No, I'll get him out of there. It's too distracting, because I got distracted by Barry. So Frank, good to see you. And hello, everybody. Hello, Marcia from Portugal. Thank you. And Mr. Lawson, OG right there. Good man right there. One of my favorite people. I'm glad you're on here as well. So let's jump into the nitty gritty of this. So LinkedIn was not a social media site. And one of the things that would frustrate me about LinkedIn is because people were being told, go there, it's a social media site, and they were just getting hit with spam. And this is why I get so riled up about these type of things. This is why Allison and I have 6 books out, and a lot of it with underlying anger below it is because the passion or anger, depending on the day, is based on that we believe in people, we believe in relationships, and what I hate and what just gets me going all the time is the people that take advantage of that. So if you're watching this right now, you're enjoying your lunch, or maybe you're a different time zone, you're enjoying your breakfast, or maybe overseas and you're having some dinner or whatever. If you're here right now, the whole point about this is if you're doing some of these tactics that I'm going to go over today, and you're doing them because you were told or taught, and now you might feel bad about doing them, please don't. Okay? My anger is directed at the people who teach these methodologies, who teach the quick way to earn the fast, quick buck, that it's the snapping necks and cashing checks, right? I don't want to make it to the Catalina wine mixer. Okay, I don't want to. Shout out to my Step Brothers fans. I don't want to do that. I don't believe in buy or goodbye. I don't believe that your only value to me is whether or not you can pay me. That's not what I see as community. That's not what I see as integrity, as authenticity. And that can be you, which is fine. Okay? Which is fine. But it's not me. It's not what I go for. I go on social media to be social. I go to business networking to network. And think about it. Take everything that you experience on LinkedIn and ask yourself, would you do this at a live networking event? First of all, I also hate live networking events because they're literally called networking events. The best type of networking events for me are events that aren't called networking events. It's casual. It's serendipity. It's the way it comes. And thank you, Don. And Don says, ABC, always be closing. So if your life is Glengarry Glen Ross and Alec Baldwin's character's one you strive to be, if you want 1,000,000x your business, fine. Go do it. Just not here. Okay? Not in our house. Go do it. I don't care. I don't hustle. I nearly knocked Barry off the, oh my goodness. I don't hustle like that. I want balance. I want relationships. I want to build these things so that they are everlasting. I believe in community. And if you do too, this is where this will go with you. And if you're just looking for quick fixes or that magic bean to grow your business, then go check another field. Go farm beans somewhere else. It's just not what's going to be here. Okay, and that's okay. The reason why I created Unmarketing almost 20 years ago was a very simple premise, that you could be a good person and build a good business that lasts a long time. That's why we have integrity, authenticity, and community as our pillars. I was tired of hypocritical marketing. I was tired of hypocritical sales. I was tired of a lot of these things, and I wanted to make a difference. So let me bring you down into how Unmarketing works, and then we'll get into exact questionable ethical things and what maybe you could do differently with them. Okay, but first of all, we got to believe that you're the brand. Okay, this is what Unmarketing specializes in, that you are the brand, right? And boom, ABC, always building community. Oh, that's so good. Ryan, now I got to write this down because I got to give you credit for that. But that is exactly right. That's the ABC I want. That's really what I want too. I want to be building community. I want to be going and connecting with each other. I want to care if somebody's business is doing well, right? I want to do these type of things. So this is the way we look at it, okay? And I don't care if you're part of a giant brand or you're a one-person shop. You're still the brand. If you're with Nike, if you're with Starbucks, if you're with, a giant bank, a giant multinational corporation, you're still affecting the brand. And the thing is about connecting and building relationships. Those go with you wherever you go. And that's what I love about that. And now I see the relationships I built a decade ago on social media, how they change now, and where none of those people are in the same spot they were then. But that's relationships. That's where I want to go. And if you believe of all these things, and if you believe what I'm talking about, then if you are your authentic self, you have no competition. I truly believe this. Not in a cheesy way. Not in a we are the world, let's hold hands kind of way. Although it's a phenomenal song. And for my Canadians, my fellow Canadians on here, I'll substitute Tears Are Not Enough. Great songs. But I don't mean this in a hokey way. Really. Your biggest unique selling position or proposition, depending on who you talk to with the acronym, is you. That's what it is. And if we try to just be other people all the time, then we don't have that. Especially if you're in businesses of high level of trust, especially if you're in businesses where positioning you as an authority in a subject is valuable, which most businesses are. So bringing more of you to your business separates you. And it's different. Things have changed. Corporations aren't faceless anymore. They're not nameless. They're not logos. They're humans. But it's always been that way. But I just feel this momentum going. This momentum of I want to know the people behind the brand. Whether it's I want to know where their political contributions are going. I want to know what their stance on things is. Whatever that is, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the way my brain is at this point. But I want to find the good people and the good companies. And then I want to give them my business. But I also want to get to know people at an arm's length, which is what social media is supposed to be good for. It has social distance. I should not say social distance. But let's use it. It used to be a good term. Just like the term disruption used to be good for when I would give a talk, except I wasn't talking about this. But literally, you get to meet everybody at an arm's length. Okay, that is the biggest part, is the arm's length. So I'm going to go over the hierarchy of buying right now. And this is what we had made. One of the first things we ever did for the company was surveyed over 1,000 people and asked why they gave their business to another business, a business service. Okay, and the last reason, now actually, you know what, let me explain the pyramid first. So the wider the section is, the more competition you're susceptible to. Okay, the more choice, the lowest level of authority, the lowest level of at the bottom, the widest is the lowest, the highest price sensitivity, everything else. So the wider it is, the more the competition. The higher up you go, the hierarchy, the higher the trust goes, and the better the relationship is. Okay, so we start at the bottom. The last reason somebody would hire a business service, would buy from another business in a B2B setting, would be a cold call. Okay, and this is where I call it the survival of the slickest. And this is look. There is 1,000, 10,000 books on cold calling, on selling directly and doing and fine. Look, any method can work. I could punch you in the face. I could punch 100 people in the face. One might buy from me just to stop from getting punched in the face again. And look, there are ways to do this. And people, fine. That's not me. I don't like getting them. They're very interruptive. They're also can be very pushy, right? And a no may lead to the next yes, and all that type of stuff. Fine, that's not me. That's against my grain. Okay, that's not the best use of my skill set. Okay, so I don't do it, and I've never done it, and I don't plan on doing it. The next one here is search and SEO. And this is amazing to do, but it is way above my pay grade. SEO is a game that changes the rules every single day, and I can't keep up with it. If you have a SEO person, if you are one, or you're trying to do it, I really, really recommend hiring somebody to do this. This stuff is, if you get to a certain level, is incredibly complicated. Incredibly changing all the time, and it is an art and a science combined, and SEO people are worth their value 10 times. But if you do a lot of these steps, it will help with SEO, with your content, but SEO itself, somebody searching, is an art form and a science, and I bow to people in SEO. It is a lot. It takes a lot of brain power and a lot of calculations, and I love conversions, and I love looking at that type of stuff, but it's not me. So I rather find people to do that for us than try to figure out it all myself. This is where UNMARKETING starts. This is what we focus on. This is what I focus on for myself, wanting to be a speaker and a marketing expert and an author. This is where it starts. This is where we go. So this is where I look at things we want to start. The next would be a relationship. This is where you've built one. So again, you notice the lower ones are fading as we go. It's because they become less and less relevant. We move up, and this is where you start investing your social currency. How much of your time do you invest in others on social media platforms versus trying to take? And if all you share on social is your own stuff, you're never investing. Okay? You're just withdrawing your social currency from stuff. And that doesn't work very well. Social is not fast. Social is not a good platform. Social media is not a good platform for sales. It's just not. Combining the expiring content and time decay that goes in every algorithm on every site of in social media, the exhausting part of making endless content that lasts 24 to 48 hours, it's just too hard. It's too much, at least for me. And I freaking love social. It's how I got known. Back in the day, I was the most influential person in Canada on Twitter, I think, for like 3 hours. And then Bieber shows up and messes that all up for the rest of us. Social is not good for direct sales, to selling what you can. And I bought a heck of a lot of stuff through Instagram ads, but those are ads. That's advertising. That is not social. I've been saying this crap since 2008. And I'll keep saying it till 2028. And then I'll just reassess. Social is good for relationships. Social is good for networking. But you know what? They take time. There's no shortcut to relationships. You build it. It takes time. When I go onto a platform, it's 6 months to a year I live on it before I even start pitching something on it. That's the difference. Okay? That's how all this stuff can work. And then a referral beats almost everything. If it's from a trusted friend, you refer somebody else. And then the top reason is they're already a current satisfied customer or client. Okay, so that's the hierarchy. That's how all this goes. And what all this means is very simple. If you believe business is built on relationships, make building them your business. That's it. And my problem with LinkedIn and a lot of things on LinkedIn and a lot of way people, especially even connection requests, is that you pretend. And now let's get into the ethics. You pretend. I get a message. This is last Thursday. Okay? This is last week. I get a message from somebody. Hello, Scott. I like the image of Unmarketing Inc. Interesting concept. I thought we would benefit from being connected and exchanging thoughts on this. Now, here's the thing. One of the ways I know somebody is usually about to pitch me is because they use the full company name, right? Calling my company Unmarketing Inc. is like calling me Mr. Stratton. It's weird. You're making it weird. And if you knew me or anything else, I wouldn't use that. But it's okay. It's my name on LinkedIn. It says Marketing Inc. But I know it could also be an automated message. It can be a lot of things that just pulls the company name. But what they're showing is they're saying to me authentically, I'm assuming that they are interested in my business. Okay. And Jason, this is great to see. My 10 years of building relationship is now paying off for me. And that's the whole thing. I talk to anybody who's had any legacy in certain businesses. When they get to that 5-year and 10-year mark, they're like, now I've got a portfolio, I've got a business. Well, that's what we're talking about. You've built this body of work. But we don't try to build those relationships at the start. We send all of our people out, hit the phone book back in the day, hit the phone book, hit this, hit the pavement and go. Go door knocking, go do this. When it's the lowest level of relevance, the lowest level of authority, highest price sensitivity, and we tell them to go do this. So I get this message. I assume all of you can predict what comes next. So I got it, and I accepted it. And now I'm so jaded. I just know I'm just putting my stopwatch on, wondering when the next one's going to come, because they said they want to exchange thoughts on this. You want to talk on it? Okay. I have never once, ever, 2003 till now, ever got a connection request about talking about exchanging thoughts or talking about something, and then we actually talked about it. Ever. 2003. And lo and behold, what do I get next? Hey, Scott, thanks for connecting. I run a reply back, yes, with number if you're interested in discovering just how to scale your blah, 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 blah. I edited out anything that wasn't about me or my business at Unmarketing Inc. Oh, sorry. No, I just left something in there so you can see what they were saying. So hang on. There. Hey, Scott, thanks for connecting. Oh, you're welcome. So, not even, and look, you're not even pretending to care anymore. You threw the lure out, you set the hook, and now you're just going to reel it in. And then I remove the connection, and now I put them in a talk. It's not what I'm there for. And the problem is, whenever we talk about this, whenever Alice and I bring it up in anything, people are like, well, you could just delete it. You could just walk away. Look, the onus to be ethical, to be authentic, shouldn't be on me receiving the request. The onus for this should be on you. And the problem is, where's the integrity in this? So right off the bat, after I accept your connection, you lied to me. Well, Scott, don't be extreme. It wasn't. You're lying to me to try to sell me something. I don't know how to word that differently so it has impact. And I know I'm preaching to the choir right now. A lot of people, if you're connected to me, I'm not quiet about this type of stuff, and it would resonate with you. So I'm talking to the people who maybe aren't connected to me, or maybe who are on here right now, or who are teaching this type of stuff. Not everybody's a wallet to you. What I try to do with my business is I stay within my audience. and try to give value, give content like I'm doing right now. And if somebody has a need for my product or service, they would consider me. That's it. That's why I do anything, is I want to help. I want to give. I want to be able to use whatever's in here to help other people out when I get to this point in my career. And this is one of the problems, is that we're just like, buy or goodbye, buy or goodbye, buy or goodbye. It's not why I'm here. And it doesn't matter what I put in my bio or the little line in there. I've put, if you spam me, I'm going to put it up, and they still don't care because they don't read it. And then people are using actual automation software for this. They're trying to automate authenticity. Did you hear that? They're trying to automate authenticity. I love automation in the right context. I don't use it on social media because I have a presumption of authenticity in social media, which has gone down and down and down every year to the point I'm just jaded. When I get a connection request on LinkedIn, I'm jaded because I'm just like, all right, what are you going to sell me? I'm interested in other people. I'm interested in other fields. I learn more from other fields than my own. And I want to connect and see things. And then we deal with this kind of crap. Look, Sam posted this last week, and I love it. I just love it. It's so wonderful. I will not say, like, these are what people are saying, Kyle, or another one of my favorite humans. It's like, I'm not sure who needs to read this right now, but here it goes. Just stop trying to pitch me your services. And look, he even throws you a bone. Personalize it. Show me you care. My LinkedIn bio is full of it. You still might get the connection, but I'll read it. Comment on my content, reference it. This is it. It's one of the reasons why Allison hasn't written the book on networking yet for us. It's because I think it would be one page with one line, and it would just be say, don't be an asshole. That would be the whole book. This isn't rocket science. It's common sense. They are giving you the ingredients. They're telling you what to do. That's the thing. They're giving you the examples. Automating authenticity is an oxymoron from Abhishek Maskey. Let me know if I pronounce it right. That is exactly it. That's exactly the point. It is an oxymoron. And Don's got a great comment here. I'm very protective of my connections. If I don't actually know you, I'm probably ignoring your quest to connect. Exactly. That's a big thing where some people do that, and they're like, only if we've met. That is great. And look, I actually wish I probably have done that. I have like 22,000 connections. It's not a humble brag or something like that. It's actually ridiculous. I love it that I changed my profile default to follow instead of request connection. And then if they want it, they can still request it. But that's it. I want to be connecting people that that want to connect with me. That's the point. That's why I'm on there. It's why I do these things, and we don't see that. And this is the problem with the pitch, with the cold email, is like 60% of B2B decisions. And look, you can pick a number. It goes up and down. It changes depending on what study you look at. But if 60% of B2B business decisions are made before ever talking to the company itself, that's the majority of the purchasing decision. And we call this a sales cloud. If you are only directly cold messaging people on this, there's so much information out there now. It's crazy. The amount of wealth of knowledge. You can gatekeep what you want with knowledge, but I can go get it and I can learn it. That's the point. Getting your content, getting you out in the sales cloud is what's important, and connecting with these things. That's what's really, really important. Yay. I'm glad I did. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I was not flexing. Okay, thank you. Lance, thank you, and good to see you. Lance is one of the best personal trainers on the planet. Drop him a line. He's awesome. And Fred, thank you. You rule as well. But this is it. Like all these names, except for Lance, I believe, I've met through social. And when I see them, I think back exactly of how I know them, a memory we have together. That's connections. And I'm about connections in person and virtually and doing both. But that's how we know these people, is connecting and trying to be that person and be that connection, that authenticity that people are usually asking for. Because conversation isn't a campaign. This is how most of social media is used. And it breaks my heart. Not only have I been on LinkedIn since 2003, I've been doing forums and message boards since 95. From IRC chat to PHP BB bulletin boards to all those sites. I love communities and what digital brings to us. It brings down our regional barriers. We can connect with a better, bigger field of vision than our actual field of vision. I love it. But this is how it's used. And it's terrible at that, by the way. It's not a good, just on the fractional metrics of if 1,000 people and 50 of them saw a tweet and 2 of them clicked, like it's just bad fractional numbers anyways. If you looked at it from a straight metrics point of view or a sweet metrics point of view. But this is not what it is. It doesn't work. And this is not you investing your social currency. You're just saying, listen to me, listen to me. And the worst part, which is why I hated it at the start when it came out, and I went toe to toe with like Hootsuite and stuff on Twitter saying how scheduling can be bad, because it's not set it and forget it. It's not the Ron Popeil food dehydrator. Okay, this is not what this is supposed to be about. The value, the core of this stuff is the connection. It's the connection. And everything you share and say and do does not have to be about you and the company. Be that catalyst for a community's conversation. Because there's 2 types of people. There's experts, and their only expertise is theirs. And there's the other side of it with people with imposter syndrome. It's usually reversed. The people who say they're experts should have imposter syndrome. The people who have imposter syndrome are more experts than a lot of people. But this world, this way, is about that you are knowledgeable enough and comfortable enough with that knowledge. You don't have to be the only person talking about it. This is how I use LinkedIn. My ratio, I share so many more things that are other people's stuff than my own. This is the point. This is the point. And Mike brings up a thing here too, which is great. Some people are obsessed with contacts made and are delusional to think those types of attempts are connections when in fact it has the opposite effect. Exactly. It's the metrics you're looking at. It's what we're trying to do. And it's not about this. It's not about who can collect the most. It's not about bragging about your connections. To me, you can do it. And you see it in profiles. There's many connections. I'm at the max. I'm at the cap. You have people who have lion in all caps with LinkedIn open networker, and they'll just accept every connect. Okay. It's not for me. It's not for me. Great question as well. What's your thoughts on people steal content act like it's theirs? Oh, it's getting addressed today. Don't worry. Let's keep moving and I'll show it to you. We'll get there. And this is what sums it up for me. And it's a wonderful quote from a friend of mine, Chris Brogan. The difference between an audience and a community is the way the chairs are facing. Chris said this on stage at a Disney event in Orlando, I think in 2010. And it has never left my brain. Right? It's a smart cookie. It's a great, great thought process. And I want you to look at these 2 things and saying, how has your experience been on LinkedIn? Meaning, what do you do mostly? Okay, so is it sharing other content, commenting on other content, liking it, looking for it outside of LinkedIn, bringing it into LinkedIn and sharing it ethically? Or is it announcing? Or is it the way that you're going to help conversations around there? That's the difference. Look at it, and then you want to switch it around. But sometimes people are like, well, again, I don't have the ability to do that. I don't think I can be myself. Nobody gave me permission to be my authentic self. Okay, nobody. Okay, I am. This is me, and this is how I think. And we're scared to polarize a lot of the times, right? We try to just go down the middle. And we just try to have, we kind of just straddle the fence, which hurts, by the way. It's not comfortable. I don't polarize on purpose. My opinions can be polarizing because I have very strong opinions, and that's just my personality. but when your people are scared of who we repel versus also that we attract people stronger. And so I want to give you permission to be yourself if you want, if that helps. I always say there's no certificate saying you can now be an authentic person, but I made one. So you can have your certificate of authenticity, which is a term used in the collectibles industry, that comic books that I love and things like that so much. The statues that are behind me right now, they all have a certificate of authenticity from Sideshow Collectibles, and baseball cards and autograph things. They all have those. Well, I want to give it to you. Okay, so you take this, all right? Screenshot it, do what you want. My fellow unmarketer, you, okay? But make sure when you're you, though, I want to make sure your profile photo looks like you, because nobody needs to show up at an event expecting this. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's for my mom. That's my mom's picture. This is a Hall of Fame photo from my college at Sheridan when I got inducted to their Hall of Fame. Very fancy. That plus $6 gets me a flat white. By the way, the behind the scenes, our book was not for sale at my bookstore at my college. That was actually like Lady Gaga's biography or something. And we just put my book in front of all of them. And to do that. So imagine I showed up at an event like this. My goodness. That suit, by the way, I literally walked into Harry Rosen suit place. I walked in. I'm like, you know the suit Bradley Cooper wears in The Hangover? I want that. The guy's like, I know what you're talking about. That's why that suit comes there. But look, you think this person's coming to keynote your event, and this walks in, right? They're like, okay, hey, sound guy, where's Scott? I'm like, I am Scott. Make your photo, make sure it's an accurate thing of you. Okay, that it's authentically you. And you meet somebody and they're like, hey, I'm Jeff. And you're like, are you? It's got to match. It's got to match. Speaking of photographers, Richard, no one authentically crosses their arms. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, and Lance says something's missing off the face. Yeah, a little bit of a beard. Yeah, that was unfortunate, but that's okay. And Don says, I asked for it for a headshot. I got my head on Thor's body. It's all right. It's a good body to be on. That's cool. So this is the thing where it's like sometimes you can use a candid photo. So like this one I used a while from a friend of mine, Coach Surfing Ori, back in the day. It was a candid shot at a conference, but I'm like, that really shows my personality. That's what I wanted to use. Okay. Use a photo that does look like you. You don't have to over filter. You don't have to look. You're gorgeous. Okay. You're all gorgeous. You're all you. Have a photo that looks like you. Because if I meet you in person and it doesn't remotely look like you, it actually can hurt trust. I know there's a lot of stuff, and I'm not talking about having to hire a pro photographer and bringing a whole setup in a studio. If you can afford a professional photographer, please do. They make you look incredible, and they can do stuff that you can't do. They look for shots, and that's the value. So if you can, do. And if you can't, try to get one it doesn't have to be. I used a candid shot here like this one. Okay, so that's evil, Ryan. I'm the only one who uses Google search to see if there's stock photos. Yeah. Yep, exactly. And CC, talking about people I've known for a long time. Good to see you. Thank you. She's rampant in the classical arts industry. Artists regularly use headshots from 20 years ago. Yes. If your photo says Jostens on it, and if it's a school shot, maybe not. So this is the difference. So I want to show you a couple of pro shots too that I had done. This is Steph. This is me against a wall on the side street of Fremont Street in Vegas. It's not a clean area, but it worked well. I love the color contrast, and I never would have picked that out myself. And then who's commented a few times, my friend and yours, Richard Johnson, is here. And this is a corner of a hotel conference hallway at a hotel in literally just a small corner. And he's like, do you want to recreate the 40-year-old virgin poster? I'm like, you bet I do. And we use that one. So I allow them to pick out of these two because one, depending on their event and stuff, but these are both my personality. And mind you, I'm still crossing my arms, I guess, but holding the beard. So that's okay. But this feels like me. Okay, so this feels accurate to me. When I show up to an event, they want to make sure they, see somebody that they actually recognize. And the photographer himself right here, yes, is an asset or a liability. Exactly. Okay. Also, please pay your photographers if you hire them, unless you have a barter that's fair for both sides. Please pay them. Please pay everybody you use. Actually, that would be great. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's get on to this next part about content and stealing it, because this really grinds my gears, as Peter would say in Family Guy. It does grind my gears. So when we're looking at other content to share, and we find something we find is funny or works really well out there, if you're not giving credit, you're taking it. It's very simple. Somebody took a photo, somebody designed a visual, somebody used something, and you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there, and you're saying, I like this. But if you don't give credit, what you're saying is, I made this. There's an old school meme out there saying, I made this. They hand it to somebody. The person turns around, takes it, turns around to everybody else and says, I made this, because now they have it in their possession. Okay, the internet's not a free-for-all. There's copyright. But I don't care about copyright. I don't care what the law says. Ethics first. And ethics means if you saw something, and here's the thing, I'm coming out of the side again. If you see a piece of content elsewhere or on the site you're on, enough that it evokes an emotion, which is what going viral is and sharing is. That's why people share. It evokes an emotion. If you see a piece of content that evoked an emotion and you want to take that and share it somewhere else and not give credit, that's not kind. I'm not going to get you even an argument about copyright. If we have to invoke the law, we've lost. If you like somebody's content, credit them. And if they didn't make it, but they shared it, so therefore you saw it, give them a little hat tip. That's at H/T. HT to this person for sharing it. We have one shot on this earth. Can we not give a little credit? It just takes barely any effort. So if you share a photo like this is funny, credit where you found it. But here's an example. I'm kind of a big deal on a fairly irrelevant social media site that falsely inflates my ego. A picture went viral. It's gone viral multiple times. It's a funny t-shirt, I think. But the problem is this is not the original photo. This is. I knew I recognized it. When I saw this go viral, I'm like, I recognize those nipples. They're mine. And Tom from MySpace, the Tom from MySpace shared this. Not this, the decapitated one. Which is okay. It's just a little shot to the ego. My man CC Chapman took this photo at South by Southwest, I believe at a book party for Jay Baer, another awesome dude. And this went viral. But let me, and by the way, if you want to buy this t-shirt, don't worry, there's dozens of stores that ripped it off and you can buy it from them. I don't sell t-shirts. I'm not in the t-shirt business. I guess we're in the sock business. We have Jackass Whisperer socks, but anyway. But like this is ethics is what it's about. Ethic is literally in your heart of what you should do. Give credit. Because if you're not giving credit, you're taking it. Let me show you something going around right now on LinkedIn. I love this. I shared it. I shared it on Instagram, shared it everywhere. I love it. What a great illustration. If it's an illustration, somebody illustrated it. This is going viral. And I saw it. I'm like, somebody chopped the artist's tag. So a tag in graffiti is their signature on the wall. A tag in this is a signature usually along the side because they don't want to take away from their art. And now you have some artists putting their tag right in the middle, which takes away a bit from the art, but because people steal the stuff and don't credit it. It's brutal. It's unacceptable to me. Respect creatives. And especially respect the people that gave you a little smile or a little laugh. And if somebody made you smile or made you laugh and then you take their stuff and you cut their name off, you're a prick. I don't know how else to say it. Give credit. Starving artists isn't just some mythical thing. credit photographers, credit illustrators, credit cartoonists, credit artists, credit anybody that you got something from. That's how we're supposed to do these things. This wasn't the original. This was. But the problem is, we get this and we're like, well, I don't know who it's from, so I'm just going to share it. That's not how it's supposed to work. This is everywhere on LinkedIn. People have shared this all over the place. But this, why? Because we can't be bothered. Be bothered. Be bothered to credit Liz and Molly for this. It is a phenomenal account. Every single one of their illustrations makes me think. But they're like, well, I don't know. That's how I saw it. No. You can go find it. And this is what I did. So I originally saw this. Okay. I originally saw this. And I'm like, there's got to be an artist involved. So I took it and I went to this site called tineye.com, but it's a reverse image search. And it's going to show me wherever it was used. And I'm like, no, I got to find the original artist because I didn't know Liz and Molly then. But I'd seen that style of illustration. And it showed me some original Reddit posts. It's always usually originated Reddit. Now Reddit also has its overly fair share of people ripping stuff off. But Reddit found me the original post and it showed the original design. And then I could take that and credit it and tag them. Because you can share this fine, just like this, but why not share it and tag them? And then go from there. That's really, really the point. I want to bring up a couple of points and questions here. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. Quick question. How would you differentiate stealing versus getting inspired? I hear people say I got inspired by someone's work. Oh, don't worry. I've got a couple of little methods of what to do here. I'm going to walk you right through this in a few minutes. So don't you worry. You're asking the best questions, by the way. Thank you, Abhishek. You ask the best questions. Thank you. I'm going to get to that as well. And Cece says, finding the originator of content usually just takes a few extra minutes of time, totally doable and worth the effort. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. It's exactly it. And Eric says, you covered the Shure logo with your unlogo. Oh, you bet I did. You bet I did. It's my mic now. I get to do that also. And by the way, when I do webinars, I put the client's logo on here. Blows their mind. I love it. It's the little things, people. It's the little things. Let's keep on keeping on here. Here's another thing. Ready? By the way, Google you can do that on your phone as well. Especially if you have an Android, you can do a reverse image search as well and find out kind of source for these type of things. There we go. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. This is important. And by the way, if you've done it and you looked at it, but you can change it. And the problem is people change things when they're given a heads up about something. So they put it in a comment. I've seen this graphic where somebody's informed them, hey, give credit to the original. And they're like, okay, I changed the comment, even in the post, but they don't change the graphic. Well, I've already sent it. Delete it and upload a new one with credit. Would you want credit? Because I know the first people who don't give credit are complaining when they don't get credit for something. If you're not giving credit, you're taking it. Please. Oh, and yes, by the way, Karen says this, artists constantly getting to do this for exposure requests, so disrespectful. Yeah, exactly. I expose myself every day just fine. And then there's things like this. The wolf pack. I love wolf packs, mostly from The Hangover. One-man wolf pack. What's up, Zach? This gets shared a lot, but not this one. It's like more like this one. And it's a whole thing written down, right? It's like, oh, this is actually how life works. At the front, there's the senior wolves, and at the back is the alpha. and then in between here to protect and blah, 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 blah. None of it is true. It's not true. Go to Snopes.com. Look at anything. This is not your layers of justifying your own mindset. Shout out to all the alpha males out there that allow this to work. If you really want to dig deeply into the research, you actually will start learning about the animal kingdom and how alpha males may or may not be kind of a myth. But that's for another day. Anywho, don't be first with content. Be right first. And I don't mean like I'm right. I mean, be correct. And can be in LinkedIn content. This could be anything, though. This could be just using quotes. Heck, it can be about the quote, like the customer is always right. That's not the phrase. And they're not. The phrase, the quote is the customer is always right in matters of taste. Meaning if you bring something out and it tastes, and it can be literal or figuratively, but it's like I taste something, I'm like, I don't like the taste, and then the chef tastes it, like it tastes fine to me. It's like it doesn't matter, I don't like it. That's what that means. The customer is not always right, and a lot of times it feels like they rarely are. The problem is we use a line like that and say, well, then we can just browbeat down our front line until they plead for mercy or they quit. The customer's not always right. Blood is not thicker than water. The line is the blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb. So it's actually talking about the reverse of what you're using the phrase for. That friendships can be stronger than family. But anyway, you're talking about focus, right? I don't have a stage. Okay? I get keynote triggered very easily these days, so I apologize for that. Anywho, do you need a reminder? Do I have to remind you? Okay. Create this stuff, talk to each other, and share stuff that is accurate. Now, I'm going to walk you through here about sharing something you see somewhere else and how you may or may not do it. I'm going to give you an example of a cross post, something from one side, from Twitter onto LinkedIn, and how I did it. The way I think so, okay? Ethics are also subjective. So you may be fine with something, you may not. Okay, this is my opinion. But this is what works for me and people that I've worked with. Here's a great tweet. I really liked it. This is from Naina Sharma on Twitter. It says, my boss's signature block says my working hours and your working hours may be different. Please do not feel obligated to reply outside your normal working hours. It's simply a powerful way to affirm healthy boundaries and mental health at work. Employer, try it and let me know. I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I retweeted it. I didn't add my own commentary to it because I don't have to be that guy. Just share it, amplify it. But I wanted to share it on LinkedIn. So here is my method for doing that. I wanted to make sure I checked to see if she was on LinkedIn, if I could find the account, if she had posted it on LinkedIn as well, so I could share it there. I couldn't find her on LinkedIn, nor did I see the post. So I wanted to share the tweet. This is fairly popular where you can share a tweet on LinkedIn, and I wanted to share it. Now, most of the time, people will be like this. This is what I said. I said I really like this. That was my quote. This is what I added to it. I wanted to take this. I wanted to amplify it. I wanted to share it because it really resonated with me. But you got to do more, okay? Because although I am giving her credit, okay, because her Twitter name is there, that is the least amount of effort possible. And it shouldn't be. You shouldn't just give your least amount of effort possible to thank somebody for positioning it, okay, to thank somebody for inspiring you. But I also added something here, link to original tweet and comments, alt text below, since LinkedIn limits up to 120 characters. So I put the link in the comments because if I put a third-party link in the status, it gets really throttled down on it. So I want to make sure the first comment is that one, liked, and it'll stay at the top, and then put it in the description so people know where to go for it. And then another hugely important thing is to have alt text. And since alt text is alternative text, which is people who are using a screen reader, it will read it out to them. Well, they can't read text in a picture. And since LinkedIn limits that, I wrote out the text. I copy and pasted the text from Twitter and put it in there so a screen reader could read it as well because it's too limited. And then I also put a link to the original. So alt text is important. If I'm using tags, you want to make sure you camel case them. That means you capitalize each word, because a screen reader will try to read it all as one word if you don't capitalize it. Plus, just visually for anybody looking at it, it's hard for our brain to decipher which word is what. And this is also where you run into the Sue's album party that happened with Susan Boyle years ago. We put it in one of the books with no camel casing, and it looks like Sue's anal bum party. So that's no judgment, but that's not what you want to do that. So that's an important thing, and I put a link to the original. But also importantly, find out if the person's on LinkedIn. Also, was the original tweet set to public? Because somebody shares something either on LinkedIn just to their own connections, not publicly, or Twitter just to their own followers, not publicly. You don't want to amplify something somebody doesn't want amplified. That's important. So I made sure to check the tweet was public, and then I went and put it in. Just like the LinkedIn posts I used here today, they were public posts, but I also asked for permission to use them as well. But they're public. And by the way, just so you're watching right now, if the problem with live video and streaming, we can't have closed captioning going. I'm still trying to find the best way to do that. But the recording will be closed captioned, and it will be transcribed by human, by a human individual. We'll type it out, and so the uploaded video will have full, accurate closed captioning for this one. And how I learned a lot of these things in these past, especially few months and 6 months and 11 months, I've been trying to change my lens and open it even more and look at and put myself in the position of people who are not me. And so one resource for this has been great, has been Alexa. Alexa is fantastic with this information, how accessibility and social applies. Please check out Alexa's stuff or go to her site, which is therealalexa.com. She has right on the tab there, just click accessible social, scroll down just a smidge, and you'll find the social media accessibility checklist. Learn it. And if you didn't know about this stuff, give yourself some kindness right now, but then do something about it. Okay? Because if you know about the stuff now and then you still don't do it, that's a different story. I want to make sure that my content is accessible to anybody who wants to consume it. And keeping these things in mind can be really, really helpful. Another thing you just saw this morning, if you have an affiliate link, disclose that it's an affiliate link. I mean, you are sending somebody to somewhere where you may get a cut, percentage-wise, dollar figure, free membership extension on membership on Canva, whatever it is. If you get something, okay, and I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah says, my Amazon Alexa is going nuts right now. Alexa, play Metallica, Enter Sandman. I'm sorry, Sarah. That's why I don't have anything plugged in here. If you have an affiliate link, okay, if you get any sort of compensation, whether it's an extension of membership, free product, money, you need to disclose it. I rarely see people doing that. I'm not talking about what the FTC, FCC, FAQ, ABC says. If an average person doesn't know you might get paid, would that change their opinion of it? Yes, it could. Everybody's getting Enter Sandman. I love it. Sorry. Totally off topic. Figured it was a good one. I almost picked a Slayer. I almost picked like a Slayer song. And I'm like, no. I'll keep it there. And Mark says my Alexa's on top volume. I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody, for doing that. Sorry, Mark. Oh, Fred can't hear me. I was just telling the kids last week. I remember being in Sunrise Records for the release of that Midnight Trafalgar Village in Oakville, and the first song they played was Sandman. Like, and you're just like, oh yeah. And then after the Black Album, I stopped really listening. So anyway, though Saint Anger is a great song. See, Focus, Scott. Focus. I can't get here. And that's exactly the song I was thinking of too for Slayer. Anywho, this is you want to be able to disclose. So when I disclose, and we rarely use affiliate links, but when we do, we make it authentic with our brand. So if we give an affiliate link to something, I write, this is an affiliate link. We have 5 kids. Please help us. I put, here's an affiliate link. We get compensated if you do sign up for it. And here is the unaffiliate link, the unaffiliated link, right? We put a regular link with no affiliate below it saying, we believe in this so much, if you rather us not get a cut, then just click this. That makes me feel good. That's honest. That's disclosure. And it makes me feel authentic for me. Okay, for me. So that's important. But you want to disclose that. If you're sending to somebody's program, even if it's a virtual conference and you have your own link and it tracks it, and then if they buy at the end of the conference the recordings or whatever, you need to disclose that. Legally, but also ethically. Well, legally, depending on the country. And that's why I don't look at that. If we look at the law to guide our ethics, we've already lost. That's not the guide. You should know. Heck, you should be proud of it. It's a good thing recommending stuff, and it's good to be an affiliate for stuff you believe in. Let's keep going. I know it's 1 o'clock now. Some of you are probably leaving. Some of you got stuff, but I'm going to keep finishing this up, keep rolling. You want to talk about broetry? This is my favorite headline of all time, by the way. Dead Bro at Society. Karina, thank you for that. It's the best headline I've ever seen. Wow. You need to go here. You need to read this. A broetry is very simple. It's the one-line hard return space, like you're writing a 3-page essay for grade 7, and you really need to fill the page with increased margins and everything else. It's like the candidate wasn't what we were looking for. They didn't have the experience or the skills. And actually, they weren't alive. They've been dead 2 years. Next line. But I believed in them. Truly. Next one. So I resurrected them. Next one. And that's what it is. And I don't have a problem with well-written things. Storytelling is an incredible art form. My whole life is storytelling. My keynotes are storytelling. That's why the broetry can work. And in this article, you'll see where they actually break it down, why it would work and what you could do with it. So just go search Dead Bro at Society. It's such a good. I actually really don't like it because I didn't come up with it. It's so good. But you can do things with that. You can learn from why things go viral. But the problem with all of this is we don't even look at it that. We don't look at why it gets shared, why it gets so many likes. All we do is we sit there and we just, I've seen people copy and paste this as if it was their own story for likes. For vanity likes. It doesn't matter. You're selling out your ethics for vanity metrics. It doesn't make any sense. You can do hard return space. You can tell a story. Fine, you can do that. They can work really well if they're written well. And also if they're true, that'd also be helpful. Because they'll end up on the subreddit that actually happened. That would, that's one of those things. Same going around right now with the pick an emoji or a reaction to this. What age are you? And with all those numbers out there and everything else. You just want the engagement. That's hollow engagement. I've seen people post chocolate or vanilla ice cream because they were learned in a course. That's how you get engagement. Ask questions you care about. Share content you care about that resonates. That's how you get engagement. It's too much. There's too much of this out there. And my industry is one of the worst. Quoting yourself with your name and your face on your account. Please. Please. Please stop. For only 30 cents a day, you can stop people doing this. It's too much. Words aren't quotes. Just because you said them doesn't mean they're quotable. You're supposed to be quoted, not quote yourself. Okay, it's just, I don't know, it just gets me. It just gets me. It just makes my heart hurt. As does this. Tag spamming. Tag spamming is a very basic thing, and I don't mean hashtags, although that's a problem as well. Hashtag stuffing. I mean tagging others on your post on LinkedIn to get them to come see it when they were not, the post was not about them. Like it's like 25 names at the bottom. It says thoughts, and you tag all these people. Stop it. Stop it. I got no problem with self-promotion, Dave, at all. At all. But that's a lot. Because you tweet something, and that's the tweet. And then somebody can take it and share it. You don't have to quote yourself and put it on a visual and put it out there like you're Maya Angelou. I don't think Maya ever put any of her own quotes in Canva and put it out there. But we think that's the thing. It's like realtors look at that and they're like, come on. The industry of their face on everything looks at those and they're like, that's too much. That's too much. So tagging people like that, it's just tag spam. And then my notifications get hit. Everybody who comments or does anything on your thing where I didn't ask for that. It's a cheap way to get people to notice things. This is the way to do it right. This is my man Justin, out on the West Coast in America. By the way, if you're looking for a senior social media content digital strategist, he is your guy. It's the Stratton guarantee. So this is where he made a post, and it's an appreciation post. So when I saw this tag, I'm like, oh, it's nice. But I knew that because Justin and I had built a relationship. Okay, I'd do anything for Justin. And we met virtually. We built connections like that. That's really, really how it works. And that's why I love Justin and his way of doing these type of things. Another thing we get a lot of, I get a lot of all the time, is people will message me saying, can I get your feedback on this book, this video, or this post? If you've already posted something and then you message me and say, I want your feedback, you don't want my feedback. And this is a quote, one of my favorite series of books from Richard A. Moran, who's put all these quote books together back in the day. I guess in the late 90s. I loved it. And this phrase, beware of those who ask for feedback. They're usually looking for praise. And on LinkedIn, it's beware of those who ask for feedback. They're usually looking for a raise of metrics. They're usually looking for you to do something with it. If you've already made it, if it's finished, you're not wanting feedback. You just want me to help the algorithm out on it. Just be honest. Hey, Scott, I posted this. I thought this was right up your alley. And if it's not, no worries. Still a little annoying because I'm supposed to see it in my news feed. But I think it's better. Almost done. Don't worry. But I have a couple more, and there's the most important ones for me. All right. Let's talk about warm spam for a second. Not spam, but warm spam, which is like we have a relationship. We've connected, and then you spam me. It's the worst. It's friendly, unsolicited commercial communication. You figure out the acronym. But that's where the problem is. Okay. And this used to happen a lot more before LinkedIn changed some of their settings. Do not, I repeat, do not subscribe somebody to your newsletter if they connect with you on LinkedIn. Let me rephrase that. Do not subscribe somebody to your newsletter. End of sentence. They should subscribe to it. They should opt into it. But what happens if they gave me a business card at a talk and they said they want to subscribe? Then fine. If you're doing a talk and you said, give me your card and I'll sign you up for your newsletter, okay. Don't sign them up. I can't count the number I've been signed up for. And I write back and I'm like, how did you get my email? We're connected on LinkedIn. I'm like, I didn't subscribe. They're like, well, then unsubscribe. It's not my job to unsubscribe from it. It's your job to be ethical in the first place. Opt in. Opt in. Using automation is like sending a mannequin to a networking event. You're there, but you're not there. Okay? You can't automate authenticity, and you can't have presence without being present. That's a big, big, big difference. Okay? We try to do this. And by the way, it's amazing how many different stick figures you can get in poses. Can you also stop hitting on people? Can you stop sending the creepy messages? Can you stop commenting in a creepy way on people? It's a message from every single human on the planet. And dudes, can you stop it? I don't want to generalize. I'm sorry. Dudes, stop it. Stop it. Be professional. Don't be an ass. Just go. Just go. And then there's this. Ooh. It's this. This is what gets me the most out of everything. Everything. I have this feature turned off, and you can turn yours off. But you know that thing of who's viewed your profile? One of the tactics is to message somebody once they viewed your profile. And it can be automated. You can automate your creepiness. And then you get a message, hey, I noticed you looked at my profile but didn't add me as a connection, or you didn't message me. What's up? That's creepy. It's creepy. And I was creeping your profile. Don't creep my creeping. Let me creep in peace. Shout out to TLC. It's weird. It's like I drove by a car lot and looked through the window, and then I pulled into Tim Hortons. What's up, Canada? Tim Hortons. I pulled into a coffee place, and and one of the car salespeople runs over and says, "Hey, I saw you looked but didn't come in. What are you interested in?" You're like, "Can you go away? Please don't. Just please don't." That's it. 10 minutes over. Try to get it within the lunch hour for whoever's on lunch. It's close. Thank y'all for joining me. Hop down to unmarketing.com or unmarketingacademy.com. Goes to the same place right now. We're working on building our whole thing out of how to be an unmarketer. But sign up for the unnewsletter. Come on there, and that's your way to get notified of everything. It's free. Nothing to sell you right now. We're working on some courses, but I'm testing the stuff out, getting it out there. And I appreciate you spending some time today. Time is the most valuable resource we have. And spending any of that time today, I really, really appreciate it. Dave's giving his best effort for an encore. I already played the hits, so I don't know what else I can play. I can play some B-sides, I guess. Is it? Well, yeah, dude, I've been talking for 70 minutes, man. It's midnight in Nepal. This is why I love, one of the things I love about the internet and social media, that Abhishek could be in Nepal watching at midnight. It just blows my mind. So I'm glad, you said you're glad you were up. I'm glad you were on to watch this. Thank you. It's the coolest thing again. When again, I don't know, I'm going to do it next Wednesday again. Just watch LinkedIn for it. Sign up for the unnewsletter. Go to unnewsletter.com or unmarketing.com or unmarketingacademy.com. All the same place. Unnewsletter.com is a squeeze page, though, so it's real quick to sign up. But go on there or LinkedIn, and I'll put another reminder on there. And I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope you enjoy every day, even in this bananas we've got going right now. Remember, if you are your authentic self, you truly have no competition. Take care, everybody. Alexa, play Enter Sandman.